Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of the PCC Gamescast, the only gaming podcast on the internet that brings you all of the gaming news you may or may not care about. This episode of the PCC Gamescast is brought to you by Miracle Fruit Oil, but we'll have more on that later. For now, I am your revered or reviled host, Josh Peterson, and I'm joined here by the man that your mother's warned you about, Big Dog Jay Linehan.
What's up? What's up?
What up, man? How you doing? This is different for us because we're first time on camera. Well, not first time. We tried it before, did not get the results we wanted, or we just got too lazy, I think, to edit it. I got too lazy to edit it. You know, we're
a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor.
A lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. We're trying to take things up a notch. You know, it's a little bit different from Topicocalypse, the other only podcast on the internet. So, yeah, man, how you feeling? What's new? What's going on?
Oh, same old. Just keep it on.
Same old stuff, different day. Same old.
Just the grind.
Just the grind. So I was telling you earlier that yesterday I actually took a day off and did nothing but play video games, watch Iron Fist, and read.
Nice.
I'm feeling a little bit refreshed, but it's weird how when you take a day off and then you just get in front of all the screens again, you just feel it come back. You know, there's no like.
Yeah. You just feel the pull towards what's out there. What's everybody doing?
It's the feeling of being disconnected. Like, I don't like being connected, but I don't like being disconnected at the same time.
I think that when you're connected, then you feel like you need to unplug, and then when you're unplugged for a long time, you feel like you need to reconnect.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to this idea of management.
Yeah,
just
time
knowing when you've had enough.
You find a balance.
Signing off. Yeah, balance. Picking a time to shut off the screens and stop texting people and.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I just feel like I'm getting crushed by it sometimes. Anyways, that was a downer. So, games we played, man. Tell me, what have you been playing? I got 3 games for you. I got Far Cry 5. How you feeling about it?
I'm getting back into it. It took a little bit. It's you just got to get back into the story. You got to get back into doing missions and stuff. There's almost sometimes too much going on.
Do you feel like in that game, it's almost overwhelming how much stuff is happening?
Yes. Yeah, there's just like way too many like side quests at once.
Right. And some of them are funny. Like some of them there are certain areas and like characters that I care enough to dive into, but like the whole thing was funny with the testicle festival where you have to go and like kill the bulls in different ways or whatever.
That was a nice change of pace, but completely unnecessary.
It was. It totally was. But there's some characters like, I don't know, I almost feel like they...
Well, when you have the option to participate in a testicle festival, kind of makes you want to do it.
Right. Why am I? You said, why am I not going to do this?
Why is this in the game? I should probably. This is new.
I need to find out what it is. But there's a lot of characters who you want to invest in them, but there's also a lot of characters that you don't want to invest in.
Yeah, they're too similar, or you just have too many.
But they're kind of like the typical video game trop characters, so you know you have.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of character depth there. It's hot hillbilly chick who flies a plane, or some crazy bastard in the mountains who has moonshine and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
very generic.
You see all the characters; they remind me of like characters from Borderlands, and Borderlands characters remind me of characters from other games. So it's how far are you?
I'm halfway through the second area.
Okay. So is that Faith?
Faith.
Yeah, okay. So how do you feel about her? I don't know. The drug trip kind of not messed me up, but like it gave me a headache playing that part. Just having the screens blurring, because I got to wear glasses when I play games anyways, because everything looks blurry. So I feel like my glasses aren't working when that happens.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, I've kind of used to that because there's certain games where if you take enough damage, you will walk around like that, like it's flashing red, like you're gonna die. It's all blurry. Kind of the same thing, but not so bad. But yeah, it is annoying. Like, oh god, you got hit with that. What the hell was the drug called? It's something bullet.
Bliss.
Bliss. You got hit with a Bliss bullet, and you're like, now you have to try to get out of this in a haze.
Right. The mechanics for that are weird because when they say like the people are coming after you, the more you run, like you might not even run into them, but the game has it set up to where if you take any kind of damage, it means that you were shot by a Bliss bullet. So I was fleeing from them on one part, and I fell off a cliff, and I took damage that way, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you've been captured or whatever. But I don't know. So I haven't. What's the final guy's name? Is it Joseph? Jacob? Joseph?
Joseph.
Joseph, yeah. So I still have to fight him. I just got caught up in a back catalog of other games.
Yeah.
5. We also have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Oh, I was feeling nostalgic. I just wanted a good game.
It's honestly, like, you can't go wrong with it. I just hate that there's not more of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got super replayability, but
It does, but like I would have loved to keep exploring that world. I would have loved to see more of the Kinway saga.
I agree. I think that there could have been a way bigger game than it was.
It was a long game,
I would
but
have liked to have seen it go how they did Ezio, how he had 3 games.
He did. Well, and like now it seems like, you have with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins,
they're just one-off stories. Like there's no continuation.
They are, and it's not so much, they're not really focusing on character development anymore as much as they're focusing on time periods.
I think so too, yeah. Which is cool. I do enjoy the depth of the time periods and stuff where you can explore and all that. But I just you don't build a rapport with any of the characters. Like I remember when we played as Ezio, was it Da Vinci was like your best friend and he made all your gadgets and stuff.
Right.
You progressed with him through the 3 games that they were in and stuff, and
I liked how they cared to show. What was the girlfriend's name? Sophia. Like
yeah.
I like that they showed what happened between the two of you guys.
Yeah.
And that was something you don't get anymore. And even the thing that I feel ripped off about with Black Flag, amazing game, love everything about it, but they didn't give us DLC that featured Edward.
No.
We got the one, I can't even pronounce his name, but the one where you're going around freeing slaves. Like that and it was fun, it was cool, but it was not what I wanted. I wanted to know what happened to Edward in the years that followed. But I know they had Rogue and Unity coming out at the same time. They're kind of trying to officially close that book, but I still feel like we should have gotten more.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of got that with not kind of, but there was a nice lead in between Rogue and what was the one where you were in France?
Unity.
Unity.
Yeah, and that was a disaster. That was the first time they were testing out that
Unity
new game engine they were using.
Unity it's super clunky, not fun.
It's funny. They had, if you read the book Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier, they talk about how they were asking Ubisoft if they were looking into creating some kind of battle royale game. And they're like, we're not looking into battle royale, but we're looking into something similar. We're trying to get ahead of the curve and find out what the next trend in gaming is so that we can be on it. But he's like, if you wanted an Assassin's Creed battle royale game, it would not run very well. Like you would have significantly less people on the map, and that's one of the things that Unity suffered from. Was it was in France Paris or France,
yes.
And it was the first game that ever featured that many people on the map at once, and it was nuts, and it was really cool. But I don't think they had the processing power to make it happen yet.
Yeah, I like the multiplayer. I like the idea, but it just never. It was just too complicated.
It was, and I didn't like that was one of the only ways to level up your stuff.
Yeah,
you had to earn the points through playing the multiplayer, doing the little dimensional rift exercises and stuff like that. Back to Black Flag, I love it. I love the story. It's a very rich story, very rich character. I just wish we would have got more, or it would be cool if. Kind of like how they put out the Ezio collection. Yeah. Give us a Kinway collection.
Like what do you want?
Let us go back and play them all as a coherent story instead of having... Because this one kind of... the Kinway stories all jumped around.
Yeah, you always... Because you went... Well, I guess there was... You never really got to... Wait, did you get to play with him? I think you did. Edward's son. Hatham?
Hatham, yeah. You played as him in...
in 3.
In 3, yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool, but they didn't really explore his character a whole lot.
No,
his backstory,
right? And they make you like him though. Like he's a very
tragic character.
He's tragic, and he's just a likable villain. I don't know, you almost feel sorry for him. Not sorry, but you want to see good things happen between him and Connor, and it just
doesn't happen.
But I would also like to know the story of how he met Connor's mom and.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear about how, because how Edward was killed or whatever, and then a Templar took over, raising his son, and kind of a deal.
Yeah,
it's a good. There's a book about it, and it's fairly good. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they do have a novel out for it.
So did that kind of quench your thirst for more story in that?
Yeah, but I wanted to play it.
Okay. And I think that's a big thing with like video game novels. Halo, for example, has a whole crap ton of novels.
Or Gears.
Halo and Gears, and they all fill in the gaps of things where the games don't. Because think about it, a lot of these games, they no longer, because there's so much like side media, novels, comic books, little shorts like they have on Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
There's now so many ways to bridge the gap, so you no longer have to take a game and have it take place, a week or a month after the last one. Now you can have like a game like
you can like have a 10-year period, and then the other avenues of media will make up what's in between.
Right. If people want to know what happened to certain characters, like you don't have to focus on specific things anymore in video games when it comes to pushing franchises to the next point on the timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
So many options. All right, so your last one here, I got the classic, man, Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Oh yeah, well, because ever since they let you mod the game through the marketplace, I just like to go on there and install new mods and see what works, what doesn't work.
So you have any favorites? Tell me.
I like the ones that add more depth to it. Like there's more places to go. Like not like missions and dungeons and stuff, but like there's more like towns. There's more NPCs. It just feels more alive.
So people actually build. I haven't played any of the mods. So like I finished it on Xbox 360, and that was when it originally came out. And then I played it on Xbox One when it was remastered. And I just never did the mods because it wouldn't let me get the achievements. You know how much I like my achievements.
Yes. Yeah, it does disable the achievements, but at some point after playing it a dozen times, you gotta freshen things up a bit.
Right. Well, so I'm playing on Switch right now. I bought it when it was on sale at Target. Well, it wasn't on sale; they had a pricing flaw, so I took advantage of it. But I set on this one, like I don't really care to like. I'm gonna play through the story, but it's kind of I'm taking this opportunity. I have it set to like a lower, not like cream puff mode, but like a lower difficulty, so that I can kind of breeze through and play the dungeons that I never played before.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not just, I'm not sitting there focusing on like, okay, 80 hours is 80 hours. Like I got to hammer through this 80-hour game, but I can keep going back to it. Like when I'm in between games or when I'm traveling. That's the great thing about the Switch is the portability. I can just put it in my suitcase or whatever and take it with me on the go.
What I also like about the modding is it allows people to fix the stuff that the studio didn't bother to fix. Like there's glitching or clipping problems like this. Like there's mods that will fix that. Or they just make everything look better. Like like how they say they're going to remaster it and they just tweak it a little bit.
Right.
Well, there's mods that tweak it a lot, and they make it look pretty good.
So how do you feel about? I know there are parties working on modding or remasters of like Morrowind and Oblivion, and they look beautiful. Whether or not they'll ever see the light of day, we don't know. But like they look really cool. How do you feel about that?
I dig it because I always feel like like I'm a big fan of like the Mass Effect trilogy and series.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to go back because they were released over such a large span. I mean, there's several games like that, Halo being one of them. But I think it'd be cool to go back and play them all again, just with fresher graphics. It just seemed like it'd make the story flow better because like when you watch a TV show and like an animated one, and like the first episode is super gritty, and then the last episode is like super like fresh and clean.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Okay.
Like I think it would be fun to play through it again, and it's been so long since I played it, Morrowind or Oblivion, that it'd be like playing it all over again.
Are you talking about kind of like with anime, how you have the series, and then like 4 or 5 years later they'll come out with like a movie or an OVA special, and like the animation is so crisp and clean and.
Not really. I'm more like, do you ever see like the first episode of Family Guy? And then see the most current episode of Family Guy?
Yeah, just see how the color shades change and all that.
Well, yeah, same principle with the movies. Like if they want to continue the story a little bit or reopen it, they'll make a movie first.
Right. This is an interesting thing because they have you have like those companies. You hear about those companies who make working on remasters of like old Zelda games. You have like we're making an Ocarina of Time with modern graphics, or we're doing like Zelda 2 with modern graphics. And Nintendo, these games, the people that make them are brilliant, but Nintendo and all these companies always want to shut them down because that's basically what modding is.
Yeah.
But Nintendo wants to shut them down. They give them like cease and desist orders, but then they end up like hiring them or whatever.
Yeah, they'll hire them to do because it's a great way for people who are into that stuff to get noticed.
Yeah,
like in Skyrim, they have like legit like independent expansions that let you go to like other completely different areas.
So do you think, well, let me ask you this though. Do you think that as a gaming community, if we're paying $60 for a game, that we should have the right to do with it what we want as long as we're not selling it?
Yes, I think so.
So you have companies like Bethesda and Rockstar who are, they like you to do things like that. That's why Grand Theft Auto is so popular. And I'm curious to see what mods are going to come out with Red Dead when it drops in October.
Super excited for that. Well, it's kind of like, that's kind of one of the reasons why we haven't had a standalone GTA game for a while, but they have the GTA Online.
Yeah, yeah.
And they keep releasing expansions after expansions, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, just imagine this, though. Imagine being a company, you put a game out, and as long as you can make a profit, probably a larger percentage because it's your game, but like if you can profit off of other gamers your audience, adding content onto your game for you. Imagine that system. That would be
imagine one where you don't have a series of games anymore. You have just one long continuous game where they just keep adding more story as you go.
Well, that's like
a lot of MMOs do it that way, but can you just imagine that with like a
gaming
Halo, with a Halo game?
Yeah, like gaming as a service though. That's like what Anthem is going to be. You have it's just an open world thing. You have your own story when you're in the city or whatever, and then you go out into the open world. You can you play with your buddies, you take down giant monsters and stuff like that, and then they're just going to keep adding stuff on as we go. And that's what they're talking about the new Dragon Age game being one of those like game in progress games where they're going to keep putting active content.
But what I don't like is because it's EA now, and I don't like the whole microtransaction bullshit they fucked up with Battlefront.
Yeah.
No, I'm scared to death that that's what they're going to do.
I think that because Anthem is really going to decide the future of BioWare, honestly. Because look at EA cut.
It's super a big deal because BioWare has some of the best games out there, RPG wise.
Yeah,
the best games out there, and I feel like the industry is like moving away from those. But
there is. Well, if
everybody wants these stupid like battle royale games that are fun for a second.
I feel like that's going to come to an end soon, though.
Yeah, honestly,
I hope because if Bethesda has proven anything, it's that even like with Fallout 76 coming out, they've proven that by letting you play the game by yourself, there is a demand. Like they do see Bethesda's a big company. If they still see profit in letting you have a single player experience, they are going to keep making them. Yeah. So if they didn't, they wouldn't be making games like Wolfenstein and Elder Scrolls.
You just think there's going to be no more stories.
Right.
And there's going to be no more character development. So I feel like that would seriously hurt the gaming community because then everybody's going to be kind of detached.
Well, especially too, like if you're like me, and you come home from work and you just want to play a game by yourself for a few hours, you want to just veg and kind of isolate yourself and, find your center again.
Yeah.
Or like the person who likes to play, a couple hours of like a Final Fantasy before they go to bed or something. Those are the gamers that I think sustain the market because they're the ones that have been playing since like the Nintendos and the Segas came out.
Yeah, those are the long-term fans, not the flash in the pan bandwagons that you have for like there's people who just play multiplayer games.
Yeah,
and that's what you like. Hey, that's perfectly fine. I like sometimes, they are fun to play with other people, but sometimes you just want to, it's like playing through a movie,
right?
It gives you more of a connection to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
I love games with choices where you can guide the story wherever you want.
That's the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey is supposed to be like that. Like they're trying to
your decisions have consequences in the game world.
It does. It feels like Mass Effect to me,
which I'm down for.
I mean, I'm not going to go as far as to say it's Mass Effect, but it does have that Mass Effect feel where you have the dialogue wheels and you get to pick like what you want to do and you level up. I don't remember Mass Effect. I don't think you level up your stats, do you?
You just level up gear.
You just level up gear, yeah. You have to do the missions and earn money to pay for it.
Yeah.
All right, so
I take that back. There is some kind of leveling up because you could pick new powers and new
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You pick like what you want
skills and stuff.
Skills. It was the biotics too. Like you can level up that. And
there's a series that I wish they would release more outside content, like more books, more shorts, like maybe TV show or anime or something.
Well, so allegedly I think it was their marketing person came out and said that they are working, like they do have things going on with Mass Effect and Dragon Age, but they haven't.
It's such a huge world. It just seems like a wasted market or wasted.
It is. Content. It is. Well, and the fact that they like Star Wars has caused them nothing but grief, and they still don't want to let go of it. But the reason that they took all the developers off of Mass Effect Andromeda, put them on Star Wars, put the B Squad on Andromeda, and then you ended up having all these problems.
Yeah.
And then you go fast forward to Star Wars, and Star Wars was still, in a way, an incomplete game because that's why all these microtransactions, but they did it on purpose. So,
because it's partly Disney, but it's also like, everybody only sees is dollar signs.
Yeah, but all of their bad decisions have led to more bad decisions. And these bad decisions.
They just need to hit the reset button and get back to what they're good at.
Yeah, and all these bad decisions are affecting the gamers' outlook on them because they were voted the worst company in Forbes like worst companies, most hated companies. This was EA
or BioWare.
EA. It was either last year or the year before.
EA was like super hated, especially after the whole microtransaction fiasco. That like really upset a bunch of people. Like I didn't really play it, but I know people that did, and they say that they basically got you to pay $60 for a game that was only like 70% done. Right.
And even still, like now the chances are very slim that we'll ever see Dead Space again because they shut down Visceral. Like they've been making so many bad decisions.
Because that's such a gory and like all those games. You don't see those games anymore. You don't see Doom. You don't see Dead Space. You don't see these all like really gory like Resident Evil. When was the last time you saw a Resident Evil game?
Well, so Bethesda actually they bought Doom, I want to say. Because they
re-released Doom. It's just remastered, but it's not.
There's like Doom Eternals coming out though, like the first like legitimate sequel.
Think so? Think it'll be as gory though?
I don't know. I don't like Doom though because Doom is one of those mindless games that when Bethesda got the rights to Doom, I was expecting like a story. Yeah. But it's still just the same thing,
Kinda like
and it's like it's a mindless game. You sit there and you want.
I heard there's a new expansion for Destiny coming out.
Yeah,
or a new story. Or for Destiny 2.
Destiny 2. It's the expansion is called.
It has to do with the. Who are those guys with the shiny eyes?
I never played it. You guys.
Yes, you did.
You and Brian Kane and them played it. Let's see, Destiny 2 expansion.
But yet again, it's a game that it's a multiplayer game, but there's no story, and it just gets really old.
Forsaken.
The Forsaken, yeah.
That was one. Maybe sometime I'll get into it, but hold on one second. I gotta fix this camera. Yeah. So it's just I don't know. Like I was expecting a little bit more, but like with Dead Space, there should be more Dead Space. Like it's a shame to see that go to waste. And the Resident Evil 2, like Capcom is actually learning their lesson with the Resident Evils because after the 7th one, people weren't really digging the series too much. So now they're going back. And they're showing, the market for nostalgia, like remasters are there.
Remasters are a legitimate thing. Like, like you said, like what the Gears bundle is coming out or something, and then what else was there? Halo.
Oh, the Master Chief Collection, like that's been a big thing for people. Like they like that and.
It was cool playing the second Halo 2, the remastered one.
Yeah.
Because that had more content in it.
More content, and it's just nice to go back to that game. But you have Capcom is remastering Resident Evil 2, and that looks really cool. We saw the footage at E3. It's supposed to come out in October. I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a really big Resident Evil fan, but it looks good. It
was kind of like, I remember it being super frustrated, but it was kind of the OG zombie thing for me game.
Okay, yeah.
So real quick.
Yeah. Another game I played just for one evening with a friend is I played World at War Zombies, the first Call of Duty
taking
zombies.
Taking it way back.
Yeah, where you're just in that one small building and you've just got waves of zombies Nazi zombies coming at you.
That's right. I know they're supposed to be bringing zombies back on Black Ops. I want to say there's some kind of mode they're talking about. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the thing. It's going to be like it's just more of the same, really. Just a horde system.
Yeah. All right. So I've been playing. I got Forza. Did you get Forza Horizon 2 when it was free on Games with Gold?
I did. I do have it downloaded. I just haven't played it.
Is because they're not going to be making it anymore. I guess like they have the games.
This is the last Horizon game?
No, not the last Horizon game, but Horizon 2. Like it's going out of production. Like they're not going to be putting the game out anymore. But they're still going to make Forza and new Horizon games. But for Horizon 2 is not going to be available to buy anymore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm sure you can still find it like eBay, GameStop, stuff like that. But
it just seems weird. We're going to stop selling this.
Yeah.
Force you to buy the next one.
Well, that's what they want. Yeah. That's clever marketing. It is fun. It is really fun. Like, it's not, Forza is a very repetitive series, but I like the concept of an open world racing game.
Well, because it's funny because it's kind of therapeutic because it's kind of like going for a drive without actually going for a drive. Right. You can just really just mess around. It's like playing like, do you remember like Grand Theft Auto or the Mercenary games? Remember the Mercenary games?
Yeah.
Dude, I love those games. Where you could just go around and drive around and blow stuff up, all that. Dude, that was just like some of the, or what was that one?
Italian Job, classic. Love the Italian Job. Just driving around the city in the Mini Coopers, just wrecking everything.
What's the guy? There's a game, I can't remember what it's called. It's got the guy with the grappling hook. It's an open world game too.
Oh, Just Cause.
Just Cause. Yeah. That's another fun one.
Yeah, I like that idea, and I love the fact that your drivatars are all out there. Like I would get cool out there and like I'd have your drivatar, Joel or Brian's drivatars just come and just ram my car off the road or something, and we just have these head-on collisions. But I was going around telling Brian Kane that I went around and I was purposely trying to break all of his records because he was playing the game at the same time as me.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
And he's a perfectionist, so I can just see myself like. He'll see, oh man, he got more of these signs than I did. I got to go and beat him. So every day I would try to like outdo him in something.
You bastard.
Other game I played, I told you I sat down and played a lot of Kingdom Hearts yesterday. Have you ever played this game series?
I was never into a fan.
I don't like it.
I see. I thought you would like it because it was a little Final Fantasy-esque.
Well, it has characters from Final Fantasy. It's made by the director of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy. I don't know if he directed Final Fantasy VIII, but he's working on the 7 remix right now.
Yeah,
and he but anyways, like you have characters from Final Fantasy VIII in there and 7. You have Sid's in there and Squall. Cloud is in there being Moody Cloud and stuff like that. You have Aerith and Tifa. And you have the Moogles, of course. But I honestly, like, the story is so incoherent. Like, I still don't understand it. I know that the world, like, disappeared to darkness, and people embrace the darkness in their hearts, and they turn into, like, heartless, and the worlds fall apart. But it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that this was, they made it's cool being, like, a Final Fantasy-esque character and being able to go to all these different, like, Disney worlds. So you have, like, Neverland, the Olympus Coliseum. You have
now you've got Star Wars, Marvel,
Alien,
Predator, Pirates of the Caribbean.
The new one has Pirates of the Caribbean in it, but it's cool, like being
Deadpool.
a Final Deadpool. Jeez,
you mentioned that game would you play as Deadpool going through all the Disney verses?
That would be intense. Oh
it's
man,
super adult.
I honestly I don't think that would ever happen, but I love the idea if it was like a
super adult Deadpool-esque.
Like a rated M expansion. Yeah. That'd be rad. But no, the game just doesn't. I don't know. I bought the pack that has like all 6 of the other ones in it, so I'll get to them eventually. But I'm trying to. I want to stay relevant with this series because I know a lot of people like it, so I'm kind of just forcing myself to play it. But
there you go.
I'm not a huge fan. I don't like a lot of mechanics.
I was never a big fan.
It feels very clunky, and like I don't like the gummy ships and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. And also, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which we talked about. I've been playing on the Switch. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about that. You played it on the Switch, like the novelty of having it on the go. Is just I would not have ever played it again unless I could experience it like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You could just be hanging out. And you're just like, I want to play some Skyrim.
Right, or you'd be in the car, like
Yeah.
I like because I can
Plane.
I can take it to work with me, play it at lunch and stuff like
And
that.
it's not a game that requires an internet hookup to play.
No.
So you could literally play it anywhere.
And I love how Bethesda.
It's an adult Game Boy.
Right, exactly. I honestly like. I'm thinking in the next 2 years we're gonna start seeing the DS be phased out.
I thought the DS was already phased out.
No, they're still making games for it. Get this. Really? Ubisoft is putting Just Dance out on the Wii U.
Yeah, I think that it'll be. I'm pretty sure Xbox and PlayStation will follow suit at some point. PlayStation did for a little bit. Actually, I think they did it first.
PSP, Vita. Well, Nintendo did it first with Game Boy and stuff like that.
Okay, but I'm talking about like console games.
Yeah,
like on a mobile platform.
It's never been done well because remember Microsoft also tried to do it with the Windows Phone.
That's true.
Yeah, the Microsoft Glass or whatever. It's never been done well.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll start seeing more of that. The handheld gaming on the go will be an epidemic, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But I love that Bethesda.
Can you imagine kids sitting in class and whipping out their multiple whatever and playing like Call of Duty in the middle of class? It's going to cause so much problems.
Well, do you see Elder Scrolls Blades? You can play it in standard, just regular phone mode. So it looks like you're Googling something, but you're actually sitting there playing a game.
Yeah.
I love that. Love it. But I also love how Bethesda is supporting the Switch. Like I'm thinking we're going to start seeing a time when we see simultaneous releases across all consoles.
Do you think VR is going to die, or is it going to keep going?
I don't know, man. Like
because I feel like it has the potential to be awesome, but it doesn't feel like they're putting that much effort into it.
Yeah, I know.
Like
there's
big titles are not willing to commit.
Right. Well, you have companies like Ubisoft, and they're a huge player.
Can you imagine like a Rainbow Six Siege with a VR?
It's still I don't think that it has the ability. We don't have the tech to track movements yet, unless it's something like a full.
I don't care about turning my head, but can you imagine sitting there and being able to play with a controller, but like it feels like you're in it, like the pan your view. You don't turn your head, but you could still turn it. But
that would be cool.
Does move.
That would be cool. Because you're more like isolated inside these worlds you're playing in.
You're not moving like you're
not.
You see those idiots who fall.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing with VR. I think until we're able to find there's a full immersion kit, like something for your feet and your.
You'd have to work on an omnidirectional like treadmill platform in order to be able to.
Yeah, like
to where you're like standing on this thing and you move and it moves with you.
Like Ready Player One.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can you imagine what that would cost?
Probably, it costs a lot of money.
You have to pay. I'm sure they do have that, and you can pay thousands of dollars to play a simulation game or whatever. But not really worth it.
Right. I agree.
I'm more of the whole. Yeah, you put these goggles on, and it feels like you're in, like you first person. It literally feels like you are first person, but your body isn't the controller.
It goes back to the concept of motion gaming. Remember how excited everyone was about that at first, and then it just got over it. Yeah. The Kinect, and we just kind of got over
it was cool at first, and it's fun. It's fun if you have a large group of people that are bored and want to sweat and play a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun for a minute.
It was. I
remember there was a fighting game for the Kinect, and you would sweat, and it was fun for like a few weeks, and then it was just like, I don't want to spend this much energy playing a game.
There's some novelty to it.
There is.
This episode is brought to you by Vitabrace, high-performance gamer wristbands by Miracle Fruit Oil. Big Dog, you and I play a lot of video games.
Yes, we do.
You ever find yourself in positions where your hands get cramped and you need a break, you got to get up?
Yes.
Okay, well, it just so happens that Miracle Fruit Oil, they made these bracelets right here, and what it's supposed to do is increase circulation in your wrist, makes you less tired, less fatigued, less sore and stiff. It's supposed to give you more endurance, grip, strength, range of motion, mobility, stability, better manual dexterity, coordination, and precision movements. I've been playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts, and it has helped. It has made it so, because, I spend a lot of time working on computers, doing video games, stuff like that. It does help. It kind of eases the pain a little bit, or I feel it less. I mean, when I do it without it, you don't really notice until you take the bracelet off. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Vitabrace is powered by nature. It contains miracle fruit seed oil, a rare and natural oil that comes from the seed of the healthy miracle fruit berry. The wristband is capable of delivering the oil to your wrist for 4 to 6 months of daily use. The combination of compression, occlusion, and unique oil provides several benefits. If you're interested in getting your own Miracle Fruit Vitabraze wristband, visit their website today at www.miraclefruitoil.com and use promo code MEDIA10 at checkout for $10 off your next purchase. All right, Big Dog, you know what time it is?
No.
It's time for the news, man. The news.
Oh, good.
We have 4 things on the list. First one, this is thanks to the voice is correct. First one, this is thanks to the good people over at Polygon.com. This is written by Owen S. Good. And its headline reads this: Fighting game tournament expands and changes security in light of Jacksonville shooting. The SoCal Regionals fighting game tournament has introduced and now altered new security measures for an event next weekend in response to the mass shooting at the Madden NFL tournament in Florida on
Just say shooting.
August 26th. At first, tournament organizer Level Up announced that all fight sticks will be thoroughly inspected, meaning that competitors would have to open their sticks even if they meant unscrewing their case. Metal detectors, both handheld and walkthrough, would also be in use, enough that managers suggested everyone arrive 1 to 2 hours before their events began to allow for the long security lines. Though some in the fighting game community supported the enhanced security measures, others on social media criticized them as onerous, time-consuming, and an overreaction. Some worried that opening a fight stick for inspection could violate its warranty. Kotaku first reported on the SoCal regional security response in a story published Friday.
Wait, what's a fight stick?
For fighting games. They use them like the arcade sticks.
What do you mean you have to open them up?
Well, because players have their own custom joysticks that they bring with them when they do these fighting game tournaments. Later that day, Level Up announced a revision. Only fight sticks that could be opened easily with a switch or a button, the Razer Pantera as an example, would be open for inspection. Other equipment will be visually inspected. Anything that raises suspicion will have to be opened by its owner before they can enter.
Why wouldn't you just use an X-ray thing?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Simple.
I'm not gonna. Here's. I'll read the last paragraph here. Level Up also provided cost estimates for the increased security, showing expenses of around $10,000 for 2 police officers to work security at an X-ray machine rental. Level Up proposed a number of ways to defray these extra costs, including using money from prize pools and higher-level sponsored tournaments, increase registration and attendance costs for competitors and spectators, or even crowdfunding. So how do you feel about this, man? You obviously read about the shooting in Florida. It was a guy who had actually won the tournament a couple years previously, and he was in the tournament.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? Do you think it gives gaming a bad name, or... Because I know, like, they're saying E3 is going to have beefed up security now and Comic-Con and stuff like that.
Well, you know it was going to happen. That's with most sports. I mean, name me a sport or event where their security isn't a big deal. I mean, it's just because gaming events are the new thing that people haven't really taken it seriously.
The Olympic Committee actually came out and said that, I don't know if they were already planning this, but, this came out in light of the Florida thing where they're saying that violent video games where you're trying to shoot and kill other people will never be allowed in the Olympics. So that's weird because it takes things like Overwatch out and Call of Duty and these big Unreal Tournament, games people love.
Then I would just not do it.
Right. So they would stick to sporting games.
So
and stuff
why would you do that
fighting
when we
games.
have those sports in the Olympics? Why would we play a game to watch a sport that they actually play?
Right. And I think it kind of kills the legitimacy that esports is trying to reach. You
can be legitimate, but I don't know why being in the Olympics would give you the legitimate football. American football isn't in the Olympics, and it's a legitimate sport.
Yeah.
I don't know why you feel the need to be in the Olympic Committee. I mean, you can have international gaming Olympics. You could just call it the Gaming Olympics or whatever you want to call it. Global round robin, red or whatever.
Well, we have, for the first time, we have companies like ESPN, Disney, like taking chances on investing money into showing these things. Yeah,
and stuff right. Like that, which is cool, which is super valid. It validates the sport and the gaming industry. So I don't know why they put too much stock on the Olympics. No, it's definitely going to keep going. You're not going to stop it. Just the shooting isn't going to stop it. It's just going to make people take it more seriously, actually, now.
good, and they'll be more aware.
They'll be more aware. Yeah. Okay. So you have to.
I mean, not good that the shooting happened. Don't misquote me on that. But yeah, it just.
I don't know. The whole league, inspecting the things needs to be I'm down for the X-ray. Voiding warranties is a legitimate thing,
right? I mean, especially gaming equipment's
or
not
if they
cheap.
or if someone releases a professional gaming controller or piece of equipment, that it should be still valid if you take it apart, or should be manufactured to take apart now easily to check it and inspect it out, like you said, like the Razer does.
Well, I wonder if in light of that, there are these companies, Razer, they're going to start making them easier to access so that they can try.
Because if not, then their business is going to die.
But let me ask you this question. We'll end this one with this. Do you think that it's right that they take money out of the prize pool to pay for this increased security?
Okay, well, let me say this. It's all like sacrifice. So you sacrifice a little now to make the industry bigger, and then in the future have bigger prizes.
I might be badly misquoting Benjamin Franklin here, but he says that, what was that quote where he talks about people sacrificing freedom or freedom for security?
You're not sacrificing your freedom. You're sacrificing a little bit of the cash that you could potentially win playing a game.
Right. But it's the same concept though. You're sacrificing something. You want to be. But it's not. You're not sacrificing things.
But there's an end result. It's gonna be better. It's not like it's taking away from your ability to play the game.
Right, and you're not really. The gamers aren't sacrificing anything. It's the companies forcing
that put the tournaments on. That the producers, the game developers, everybody should shell into it.
Right, because you already get taxed on any prize money you win or lottery money or whatever it is. Yeah. All right, story number 2 also comes from Polygon, and what do you know? It's also written by Owen S. Good. Sea of Thieves Devil's Roar expansion boils the ocean next week. So this wasn't one of the ones that we talked about. Here, let me read the thing real quick.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was coming out.
Sea of Thieves' next expansion, Forsaken Shores, will launch on September 19th for Windows PC and Xbox One. Rare announced the launch date with the trailer showing a look at the game's deadly new region, the seething volcanic Devil's Roar. The Lonely Survivor's dramatic sea shanty tells of a volatile and deadly land of fire and the doom of the sailors who visited it. Visually, the trailer shows off some details players may expect when the expansion arrives. Those glowing charms, armor pieces, and ship ornamentation seem to be a new style. Face paint on the pirates would suggest that's being added as another customization option. Rowboats are also being introduced. Good. With the expansion as a means of getting to or leaving shore. Apparently, they're necessary because the volcano's eruptions boil the nearby sea. And the special guest star, the Crab, scuttles onto the scene at the end. Krabby starred in trailers for the Hungering Deep, Cursed Sails, so maybe he or she is here only for prosperity's sake. Maybe the Crab finally shows up in the game. That's it. So, I know we dabbled in Sea of Thieves a little bit. Is this enough to make you go back to it, a new area, new lifeboats? I would be down to get on there and play it.
I never did finished the last one.
Yeah, we should do that. We should play. I know we only played with Brian Kane, but I'm down. We can get a schooner, whatever it is, and get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So you missed the what was it? The Cursed Sails one where we got out there and it took us. They're big community events. The ghost boats coming up, and once they appear,
they keep coming back.
They keep coming back. So you have to you sink the ship, you jump in the water, get their treasure, or you can jump on their boat.
Didn't you say there were people trolling that too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they were trolling you. They get out there and once you got the treasure, the other boats would come after you, while the ghost boats also coming after them, and it's just a big thing. So what I was doing was we'd go by and. Brian Kane would shoot himself onto the boat, and then he would grab the chest and jump back onto our boat, and then we'd just keep on doing that. But sometimes when we were trying to fire each other out of the cannons, we'd miss and end up on an enemy boat.
Oh,
but no, I liked how because this was the first time we experimented with the alliance mechanic.
Oh, okay.
So you can form alliance. You just go up to your flag and you can form alliances with other boats and stuff. So that way, when you get a treasure, they get a treasure, and they sell it, you get some of the profit from it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That is cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like a guild system would be kind of pretty cool.
Yeah. Something I think there needs to be more motive in these games for people not to screw each other over.
They started out with a small idea, and they're going to develop it as they hear the feedback, which is a cool idea.
I want a progression system. I want a story. See if these two comes out.
Level up my characters, equipment.
I want a reason to play.
Yes.
And we don't have that in these games. Next story comes from Kotaku, and it's called "A Fan is Fact-Checking the Assassin's Creed Games," and it's written by Cameron Kunzelman. I might be pronouncing that wrong. It's a long article, so I'm only going to read the first little blip of it. An industrious fan with a lot of time on their hands, obviously, is going through the Assassin's Creed games and fact-checking the events that take place in them. It makes for good reading. In Reddit, threads about Assassin's Creed 2, and Assassin's Creed Unity, user Vestigial Llama 4 has gone through the major events of these AC games and pointed out where they do and do not diverge from generally agreed upon historical fact. Crucially, this fact-checking is performed via Ubisoft's own rules, as the user writes in the header for the threads. I think there's a quote right here. "I'm going to try and avoid being pedantic. I'm going to be fair. If I think or judge that the games are fair, I'm going to do it by using Ubisoft's own rules. 1, the 30-second Wikipedia rule that Desolates/Jade Raymond and others talked about. If something can be checked in 30 seconds, can be verified, then AC will stick to the facts. But anything beyond that, they will change. If the games provide a truer and more accurate picture than most famous pop culture view, for instance, if you are making a game about pirates, you have to be more accurate than Johnny Depp movies. That's a simple low bar. I'm also going to be fair in identifying what I think people's familiar idea of a period is at the start of each game so that people know that what my standards are." The 30-second rule we just went over. If it takes less than 30 seconds to find it on Wikipedia, then it should be truth, Desolates explains. If it takes you 3 weeks in the old books in Oxford, then who cares? All right, so how do you feel about this? Is historical accuracy... I know my brother is huge, and he's about to start his own podcast called Gaming and History, but I'm okay with it not being historically accurate.
Okay, see, the thing is that it's not a period piece. It is a fantasy piece. There's no such thing as a piece of Eden in history.
Right.
So you can kind of make up Leonardo da Vinci never made a hidden blade. I mean, it includes events in history in a certain time period, but it's not a period piece.
I agree, and it's not like you have people.
I love the meme where it's like I learned more about history from Assassin's Creed games than I did in school.
Right,
which is funny. I mean, you do learn a lot of stuff.
Well, a lot of even modern history teachers are very ranty, and all their rants revolve around their point of view. Yeah,
this allows you to form your own point of view.
With and with Assassin's Creed, the big thing is to me, when I see something in the game and I'm curious about it,
I'll Google it.
I'll Google it and I'll actually go and research it. The same thing with
I'll fact check it. I mean, I'll do it if I think that I'm like, I wonder if that really happened that way, and then you Google it.
And it's not for me to disprove the game. It's more because it made me interested, and that's where I think it's cool where history, and education and video games cross together. Like in Origins, they have that natural history museum mode for Assassin's Creed Origins, where you can just kind of run around, learn about the different stuff.
Yeah. No, I think that gaming is a great way to segue history and science and all any subject really. It's a great way to get people involved or to notice things about a subject that they may or may not care about.
Yeah,
like no one likes to do math, but all these games have these math-based puzzles in them, and so it forces you to try to figure it out.
Right.
And then like history and science, in not really science per se, but you know what I mean, like in Skyrim or all these other games where you mix ingredients to make other new things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Alchemy.
Even with a game like Devil May Cry, for example, they are the first people to use. I want to say they're the first people to use a Nephilim or Elohim or whatever in a video game, and that's what got me interested in opening up the Bible to see what it actually says about these beings in the Bible, or go on the internet and kind of get into that whole debate. It's very interesting. We'll talk about it sometime. Not on here though. All right, cool. So our last piece of news comes from IGN, and this is written by. Sorry, we're loading here. Should have had this ready, man. My bad.
It's no worries.
Laura Prudhomme, Netflix's The Witcher casts Henry Cavill as Geralt. Henry Cavill has been cast to star in Netflix's adaptation of The Witcher as lead character Geralt of Rivia. The streaming giant has announced the series is based on the best-selling fantasy novels by Andrei Sapkowski. According to Netflix, The Witcher is described as an epic tale of fate and family. Geralt of Rivia, solitary monster hunter, struggles to find his place in a world where people often prove more wicked than beasts. But when destiny hurls him toward a powerful sorceress and a young princess with a dangerous secret, the three must learn to navigate the increasingly volatile continent together. Cavill first publicly expressed his interest in the role of Geralt in Netflix's Witcher adaptation in an interview with IGN. They're pretty humble about it. All right, let me ask you this. How do you feel about this? You've played more Witcher games than I have. I kind of just dabbled in the last one, never finished it. But how do you feel about this?
Oh, I'm excited. There have been a couple like fan movies, and I think maybe like a show or TV show, but it was a Polish TV show.
I saw that, and it was supposed to be a 13-episode series, but then they decided to crunch it all together into a movie.
Yes.
And then they released all 13 episodes like a year later, but it was still pretty bad. Still left a pretty bad taste in people's mouth.
It was just a low budget, bad acting. I mean, it was just low. It was like a fan film.
Did you watch it?
No, I watched parts of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just was a fan film. It was just a bigger budget fan film. But I think with Netflix behind
was it like Solomon Kane?
A little bit.
Okay.
It kind of reminds you of a little bit of Solomon Kane, a little bit of like the Clint Eastwood movies where he just wanders. He's the wanderer with a gun. He just wanders around, doing stuff. But it's a good story. It's a good universe. The games were great. Story was really good. Lots of diverse and in-depth characters. I'm excited to see what Netflix will do with it, because Netflix usually does pretty good stuff. So
right.
I mean, if they stay moderately close to the game or books, I think it'll do really well.
How do you feel about Henry Cavill playing the part?
Oh, I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly
he's a legit action star, but he also knows how to act.
He does, and like we were talking about this earlier when we were grabbing food, was that DC has kind of screwed him in his contracts.
Yeah,
and, they're putting Man of Steel 2 aside so that they can make a Supergirl movie, but they want him to be in the Supergirl movie, and it's all very just like they have not treated him very well.
Well, you know how Disney is, they want you to do everything on their schedule.
Well, this is Warner Brothers,
yeah. Okay, with Warner Brothers, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like Netflix is more of the cooler...
And Netflix can tell stories that they want to tell. They're more willing to risk things. Like, they got some weird crap on Netflix.
They don't have to worry about appealing to the general... They're not really in the business. They're in the business of making money, but they won't make a rated R movie PG-13 and dumb it all down just to get more people in the seats.
Right. If you want to take a chance on something, they'll do it. Like, they're willing to find out what happens. And with something like Stranger Things, like the concept was, if I would have read that in concept form, I'd be like, there's no, like, it sounds cool, but there's no way it's gonna catch with mass audiences. And look what happened.
Oh, huge pop culture.
Same thing. Altered Carbon book sales skyrocketed after that show came out.
A lot of they have a ton of great original content.
Yeah.
I'm a little like worried how it's going to end up when Disney pulls all their stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like all the Marvel stuff.
But Netflix actually has the biggest production studio in existence. So allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like physically or capital-wise, but...
Maybe capital-wise. I don't know about physically.
Maybe maybe they'll be fine, when Disney pulls their media from there.
I just think they'll just up their game.
Yeah.
They'll just force them to crank out better, more original content. Like Bright, that was such a good movie. Underrated. It's supposed to be another one coming out.
Yes. Did you see like Netflix? I love their idea of taking.
You ever watch the Ozarks?
I have not watched yet. I've been meaning to.
Peaky Blinders. That's not really
Peaky Blinders
Netflix show, but
yeah. But they have Netflix is doing something clever where they're like taking animes or they're taking like foreign shows and movies and creating them as American.
I also like how Netflix and all these streaming sites, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. I don't know about not so much Hulu, but Netflix and Amazon Prime, they'll save shows or films that studios have deemed not worthy, I guess. Like they're not afraid to take chances on unlabeled failed projects, I guess you could say.
Right. Yeah.
But
and like buying the properties from
studios,
Lucifer and things like that.
Or they did. What was the one I really like? The Expanse.
The Expanse.
Amazon Prime picked that up.
And they're more free to do things with it that I think would appeal to more audiences.
Getting off of regular TV onto the streaming stuff is a super, because it opens up your options.
Yeah.
Like, everybody talks about, now you can do nudity, but it's not just nudity. You can be, violent. You could do whatever you want. Like I said, you're not trying to cater to a certain demographic. I mean, you are, but you're not worried about ratings.
Right.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you, man, and good for them. Like, I'm excited to see what comes with this, because if I like how these big streaming companies are taking interest in fantasy series.
Like, again. I'm legit excited because I think it'll open up a lot more gaming movies that are developed from games
and legitimate adaptations
with legitimate actors,
like,
legitimate
you don't
story.
have to worry.
Yeah, it's gonna have like legit production value. Well produced, well written.
You have the freedom to dive into all the things that make the games great.
Yeah, and if you turn it into a series, you don't got to worry about leaving stuff out or something like that.
Well, that was my beef with Tomb Raider, though, is the fact that you had all this stuff that made the game great, but they took it out and dumbed it down.
Do you think that if they made it on a stream at Amazon Prime or Netflix did it, do you think that would have been more of what you thought it was going to be?
Oh, heck yeah, and it would have been awesome, and people would have loved it, because the big thing to me with the game was that not only did you have this cool action-adventure game, but it was demented in some facts, because you didn't expect some of this stuff to happen.
Or it delves into, like topics that are not PC, like it's like human sacrifice kind of in certain shows and stuff.
Right.
That's something you can't show on regular TV and in certain movies unless you're fine with the R rating and the people not watching it, I guess.
Yeah. But
I feel like what's what they did with the new Venom movie coming out is that they were more trying to cater it to the people, get more people to watch it. That's why they dumbed it down to PG-13.
I still don't think it needed to happen. Not the rating, but just the movie in general. I would have loved to see Venom in the MCU in some way, like legitimately.
So you would have been okay if he was in a Spider-Man movie, but not a standalone?
If it was made by Marvel, well...
It is made by Marvel.
No, it's made by Sony.
Through Marvel, right?
Well, they own the Spider-Man rights. Sony owns them. Spider-Man is pretty much on loan to Marvel from Sony, or they have like a joint contract going for them.
All right. I don't know. I'm gonna wait to pass judgment on it, but I think Venom could have been way better on Netflix.
Yeah, as a series. Oh, I agree.
Or just a standalone movie.
Yeah,
it would have been fine.
Because I mean, even look at like the things that make Daredevil so great is that it's such a gritty show.
It's gritty and brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the studios would be okay with showing that much violence in a movie or a TV show on TV.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why these streaming services will always I think the future of, shows, serialized storytelling is on streaming services and not on TV.
Yeah. Or I guess you get paid cable like networks like HBO and
HBO. See, that's another thing, yeah. But I know like USA and Sci-Fi trying to keep,
they're trying to
television alive.
They're trying to push the boundaries.
Chucky and The Purge and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're trying to push the boundaries on what's acceptable on American TV. But they just don't have the freedom of the Netflix. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think because I haven't really actually do you think there are people that protest? Because I know there's like those people who like sense the moms against violent TV. Do you think there's those that try to protest Netflix and those kinds of shows?
Oh, I just saw one the other day. Like there's something in.
But see, what's funny is you have to pay for that service.
How can
you protest something that
just
you
don't
pay
subscribe
for?
to it. Well, you know how people get like when they want to protest something, like they want to get everybody involved in their protest. Yeah.
Nothing's better when grilling your favorite meal than adding some delicious Wheelie Q rubs, seasonings, and gluten-free barbecue sauce. Made with the finest ingredients, Wheelie Q products pack a ton of flavor to your meals, whether it's ribs, chicken, steak, hamburgers, fries, or vegetables. To get your hands on some of these tasty Wheelie Q items, head on over to www.wheelieq.com, and a portion of all profits made will go into finding a cure for spinal muscular atrophy. Pop Culture Cosmos listeners, act now and get 15% off your order just by entering the promo code POD1, that's POD and the number 1 at checkout. For the tastiest food on the grill, nothing's better than Wheelie Q items today at wheelieq.com.
Big Dog, I got a topic for us to discuss here.
All right, hit it.
Gaming, okay? Never talk about gaming.
Never talk
about video games, ever. This is the first time, we're the first podcast to ever talk about video games. I have been playing a buttload of Kingdom Hearts, like I was telling you yesterday. I kind of took the day and played some video games, watched some Iron Fist, did a little bit of reading, but mostly played Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
More on that later. So I was just curious, over the summer, what is the best game your favorite game you played over the summer, and what games are you looking forward to coming out in the fall? Because it's kind of gaming season starts in actually September. It already started with the release of Spider-Man on the PS4, and all these games are coming out within the months of September and the early weeks of October because they don't want to be put out anywhere near the release date of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, which is one of the movies I'm most excited about this fall. But my favorite game over the summer, I'd have to say over the summer, I got most enjoyed. I think it was playing Sea of Thieves.
That was fun.
It was a
lot of experience. It was a lot of fun. I do want to go back and play the new expansions.
Yeah, I'm down. It was fun. I did like Far Cry 5. That was also fun. It was a good sandbox first person shooter.
Right.
Had an interesting story. They went with it. But games looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What else is coming out? Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5. Okay, so how do you feel about Battlefield 5 and the fact that a lot of people are saying, oh, they're appealing to the PC crowd by having like a female protagonist and stuff like that? Are you
in a Battlefield game?
Yeah. Do you care about that at all?
I don't care at all.
Good, because it looks good. Like she like I see the trailers.
It's a first-person shooter. If you don't like being a chick, mute the TV.
She looks like a character that I would be interested in playing because the trailers looked cool.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks like it has a good story. The graphics look really good.
Yeah.
It's probably more hyped about this than I was about Call of Duty World War II. Even though Call of Duties were the more World War II.
Oh yeah, that was the last one to come out, right?
Yeah, it was World War II.
Yeah, and that had a bunch of
just Call of Duties 1 through 4.
Right. Yeah, and like that had a bunch of controversy surrounding it with there weren't a lot of like black soldiers in that one, but
what
Call of Duty World War II.
Oh, okay.
But the thing was, like, if you know your history, like they weren't exactly treated that well back then.
No, and then they had their own companies. They had like whole companies of African Americans.
Right.
I mean, not that they weren't there.
What was that? Remember the Spike? Was it Spike Lee movie, that Miracle at St. Anna?
Maybe. I don't remember.
It was about that group of African American soldiers who kind of their own squad, but they didn't get treated very well. It is a cool movie, but
accurate.
Yeah, I'm excited to play Battlefield. I love the fact that in their advertising, they're still rubbing it in everyone's face that they have
they're
Activision's face.
going hard on
Call of Duty because they still have a single player mode.
Yeah.
It's
like it's just like Call of Duty, except it's better because we have single player.
Right.
But no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I always liked the Battlefield multiplayer better than the Call of Duty because it was just more. Because I was always been to like Halo, so with vehicles and added elements, which Call of Duty doesn't have, but Battlefield does. It's got tanks, jeeps, planes now, zeppelins, trains, boats, you name it. It just makes it better.
Right.
I feel like you wouldn't get as burnt out on Battlefield multiplayer than you would on Call of Duty, where it's just the same shit.
Well, I always like Battlefield is more
like everybody has a role. Like there's medics.
Yeah, but it also seems more fair to me though. Like you don't have a bunch of people like spawn. You have less dicks on Battlefield 5 than you do in Call of Duty.
They figured it out because your spawn points is you parachuting in. You can literally guide where you end up.
Yeah, so there's no
there's no spawn point.
Right, and that's
you can actually spawn on your players that are still alive.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. I will give Fortnite the fact that they have people jumping into battle instead of having spawn points because
you can't spawn kill.
Over the years, that has become a huge issue is camping and spawn killing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're super good and you can shoot people dropping out of the sky, I mean, that's good for you.
Good for you,
But it's not like where anybody asshole can stand there with a shotgun and wait for you to jump back in and blow you away.
Yeah, because you have games like Call of Duty and No, I don't know. It's just Call of Duty really has cultivated this troll culture.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Because remember, we faced a similar challenge in Sea of Thieves, which we talked about on a previous episode, where people were...
Could you spawn on the same point?
You spawn on the same points in the boat, and they're sitting there killing you, and they wouldn't let us reset because they kept fixing our boat.
Yeah, so I don't like the whole fixed spawn point. Halo used to do that too.
Yeah,
the fixed spawn point. But I definitely dig the whole where you can either spawn on a current player on your team,
right, or
you can jump into the battle zone like via like parachute or whatever, and you can like drop down to wherever you want.
Yeah,
which is I think is the best option. But it would be cool if you could like you're parachuting in, but you see another guy on the other team parachuting, and you could try to shoot each other while you're in
the parachute,
down.
or you can float by him and cut the strings to his parachute.
Yeah. That'd be fun. But yeah, no, I definitely like the way that they do it versus Call of Duty and stuff.
And Battlefield has always had, as far as their storytelling goes, they've always had pretty good campaigns. You know, they're memorable, as opposed to like Call of Duty. Like
Call of Duty, like 1 through 5, up to the first Modern Warfare had really good stories to them.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed the first Modern Warfare game. Remember where you're on that boat and like the entire dialogue is from the movie Aliens?
See, that is really good. They don't do that anymore. Well, I don't know if it's because they switch between they have Infinity Ward makes one, Treyarch makes the other. Like they switch back and forth between.
They didn't switch. They stopped working with I think Treyarch.
Okay.
And so I think it's Infinity Ward now. But like like that, it was like remember like the end where it's at the end of the game. Spoiler alert. Where the general turns on you and he's fighting. He like stabs you and you're laying on the ground. And you have to pull the knife out of yourself and then try to throw it and hit the general or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the sniper mission where you have to hit the dude in the tracksuit from like a mile away.
Straight up behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines, yeah. Like you don't get that in these new games,
right? And
the one newer game that I thought had a pretty decent or interesting story was the one. Where it was Call of Duty, but it was in the future. It was where Kit Harington is from Mars. I think it is.
Is that Advanced Warfare?
I think it's Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
Like that had a really interesting story to it, but Call of Duty fans didn't like it because it wasn't shoot 'em up as much as they wanted it to be.
Right.
Like I don't know why we went from World War II to this modern stuff, and then we can't get off the modern stuff. Like, we can't progress or anything like that.
Yeah, because, much like Assassin's Creed, there are other time periods that are worth exploring.
Yeah. Like, I thought it was really cool when Call of Duty did the one where you're in the Vietnam War?
Yeah.
Where, that was the one where Gary Oldman plays the Russian dude.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Where you're like a spook and your brain's scrambled. And you think he's been with you the whole time, but he hasn't.
Ooh.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh yeah. Remember your character's voiced by your favorite
Sam
actor?
Worthington.
Sam Worthington.
Yes.
I just watched him in that movie Titan on Netflix.
Was that good? Any good?
It's a decent story and it's a cool concept. Not. It could have been way better written, but it's an interesting concept of forced evolution.
You just gotta stay in those creature features, Avatar.
It's not so much a creature feature. I mean, it is a little bit. It's more about the lengths that humanity's willing to go to survive.
It's a good point. I mean, I think that's
you
kind of...
check it out, but yeah,
okay.
It's interesting.
All right, so one more...
Gaming, back to games.
I do want to ask you about Fallout 76. How do you...
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like this is like the Trolls' ultimate dream game. Because you have to build stuff. That's the one thing I didn't like about Fallout 4 is the fact that you were forced to craft things. And it was always under attack by people.
Oh, the settlements?
Mm-hmm.
I dug the settlement thing, though.
Did you?
I dug it. I liked it. Oh, because it makes you feel like you're not just going from quest to quest. You get a thing saying, "Oh shit, your base under attack," and you have to go there and save them. I mean, I thought that was a pretty cool thing where you had to go save this place you spent all this time and money in.
Yeah,
it made you value it. It made you think about how am I going to build this to where, if it does get attacked, it won't get all messed up or whatever. Like it made you care about the places and the characters that were there.
Yeah, in Fallout 76, though, like you create your own bases, like you build with your friends and stuff, but like. I'm hoping that there's a way to shut off whether or not other people can jump in your game.
Yeah.
Because remember we were doing that in The original Red Dead Red Dead, yeah, and we'd always be like,
we didn't build anything, but you constantly were trolling other groups of people trying to do quests. Like you'd kill the quest provider before they could talk to him and stuff, and they'd have to wait for him to respawn.
Right, or like we'd be doing missions or whatever, and all of a sudden there's this giant gang of like horse riders coming down the ridge trying to kill us. And
Which it actually made for fun gaming,
right?
But frustrating if you're trying to actually do progress.
This goes back to our earlier conversation. If you want to play a game by yourself, you should be able to.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely down for the jumping into people's games, but so long as it's more of
I want them,
Borderlands or Far Cry, where you can co-op jump into people's games, but you can't jump into someone's game and just fuck their shit up and then leave.
But even in Borderlands, I like the idea of like you have to shoot somebody and then they have to accept the invite to have you be like a.
You mean it's like a more of an MMO like PvP area where you have to accept the duel.
You have to accept the duel.
Yes, there are certain areas where if you go, you are free game.
Right.
But for most of the game, I think
if you're in like a settlement or something,
it should be like if you did like the Red Dead, like if another player wanted to challenge you to a quick draw duel, that would be a cool idea to jump into the game and do that kind of, or you could sit down and play other player playing poker, and if you think someone's cheating, you could try to shoot them, and they can try, and if you don't, they'll kill you, and that kind of a thing.
Yes,
that's a cool concept of how to jump into games.
Yeah,
but this whole like where you can jump in and just troll the shit out of people and kill them every time you see them, I'm not down with that.
Yeah, same. For me, best game I played over the summer was actually Wolfenstein 2.
Oh yes, you played a lot,
and it's fun. It's brutal. It's hard. Like the story's good, but it's like one of those stories where, like a movie that you only want to watch once, but you still come out of the theater going, that was a pretty decent flick, but you'd only watch it once.
Yes, there's been several of those.
Like,
I can't think of any at the time. But
like mini Daniel Day-Lewis films for me. Last of the Mohicans I will watch multiple times, but anything else he's been in.
And I'll watch Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis films. I'd have to go back through. But there's a lot of like critically acclaimed movies that you only need to see once.
Yeah,
like the movie Titanic. I really have no interest in ever watching that again.
Right. I'm glad I watched it.
Glad I watched it, but
part of the jokes about Jack on the door. But
I didn't think it was actually a very good movie. But I thought the acting in it was superb. But as a whole, shitty movie was The Revenant with DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. I keep thinking about watching that. Is that not worth?
It's worth it because it's such a good and it's a gritty graphic movie and stuff like that. But it's first 15 minutes there's some action, there's a bunch of killing, there's fighting with Indians or whatever, and then there's a whole 2 hours of these fuckers just trudging through the forest in the snow, trying to survive frostbite, bears, and all this other stuff. To a little bit of action at the end where he's trying to get revenge.
Yeah,
and it just felt like a huge waste of time. Like just whole periods of the movie where there's music and no dialogue. It's just him walking.
So it's an artsy film.
It's an artsy film.
Games I'm looking forward to: Forza Horizon 4. I would love if we all played that because instead of having your drivatars on the map, they're actual people. So we can all like road trip places together and like.
But I like the idea that if we're not all online, you could still kind of play with your friends?
Yeah. I don't know if like the drivatars are gone completely, but I know a majority, like in the trailers and footage.
It's more of an open world game now. It's not a set track.
Yeah. So in a lot of like the footage we saw at E3 and stuff, it was a bunch of people.
Like, can you imagine?
They're real people.
Can you imagine like you're playing on Forza Horizons, driving on this coastal road, and then all of a sudden this fucking car shoves off the cliff right into you,
right?
And it's one of us.
That would be
it's our driver.
Hilarious. Yeah. I love that. So that looks fun. I'd be down if you guys all played it. I do, like you said, I want to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Not much to say there. They got the new progression system, and you can choose your dialogue.
I'm definitely excited about the dialogue options and the progression.
Do you like the concept of being a relative or a related somehow to Leonidas?
Oh, so you're like somewhat like loosely related to a
you're
historical
descended,
character?
Yeah, you're descended from Leonidas.
It's a cool concept. It'd be like saying like you were another one they could have used was Achilles because it's Greece.
Yeah,
you could have used Achilles. You could
an Assassin's Creed that takes place in the Odyssey would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Like where you run into. Well, that's more okay. We're getting into crossing over between Assassin's Creed and Gods of War here.
No, that's true.
Because Achilles never really proven to be a historical character.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, That's true.
But it would be cool to like encounter these people in the game. Like you encounter Leonidas at one point, and then like Achilles at another location or something like that, or Julius Caesar, like legit historical characters, which you do.
Yeah.
Which we might end up encountering in this game.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll maybe run into Greek philosophers, all that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you'd have like your
like you run into like
Leonardo da Vinci's and
the dude from the Iliad.
Odysseus,
or you run into crap.
Like
drawing a blank here.
Socrates or Plato.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Plato, Socrates, those guys.
Yeah. Also, I got Spyro Reignited Trilogy in interest. Very cool with Spyro.
I was never really into Spyro.
That was like one of my. I never played.
I was never really into those cartoony games.
That was one of those games where that was the first like video game, like relevant video game I think I ever played. Like I had Sega Genesis growing up, and I was into like Sonic, and like we got Virtua Fighter was the first like $60 game I ever bought. But Sony came out, PlayStation games for $39.99. Miss those days. I remember Spyro was something I really wanted because everybody was playing it. All my friends were playing it, and I was like, I really want to get into this. So my mom took me to like 3 different stores, and we couldn't find it. Finally, we like moseyed on down to Fry's off the 405, and they had like 3 copies left, and that's how I got it. But I have fond memories of Spyro. It's a mindless game, and you just kind of sit there. It's fun to play.
Yeah, and it's kind of like on like Crash Bandicoot.
Right. There's no stress in it.
DK.
Right. Pokemon Let's Go. Because when we were kids...
You know what I would like? I'd like a modern update version of Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Well, because remember we used to always talk about the concept of it'd be cool to have an actual console version of Pokemon. That's Pokemon Go is supposed to pave the way for that.
Okay. How about what would be legit would be like a because that's what they are essentially, is a sandbox game. The Game Boy games is a sandbox game.
Right.
That'd be cool to have on a console where you could literally like see all these places and
that's what Let's Go is. It's on the Switch.
Oh, I don't know. And
it's supposed to be okay. Well, Switch, man, good investment. But it's supposed to be like they're actually working on a legit like Pokemon entry for the Switch that comes out next
where you
year.
Could run into other online play, like I guess an MMO version.
Okay, well,
you could battle other players in the game. Like have legit Pokemon battles.
That would be cool. Well, in this they do the thing, it's all 3D and you can play it on look up footage you get a chance. But they have, they have the trainers popping out and you can go and talk to them and challenge them. You don't use. They took out the standard like when you're out training, when you're doing the grind, you're out in the grass finding other Pokemon, fighting them.
Level up.
Yeah, trying to level up. They removed that. They don't have that in this. So anytime.
Yeah, but that's what made the damn game so.
I know you level up through fighting trainers in the game.
Okay.
Because this game, like,
then how do you capture a new Pokemon?
You go into the grass and do your thing like that, and like you.
So you only go in the grass to catch new ones. You don't go in there to defeat.
But
them.
your Pokemon gain experience from you capturing Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not entirely sure how the mechanic works.
If you accidentally knock them out, you don't gain any experience. But if you capture them, you do.
That's what I understand. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, you can shoot us an email at topgoclips@gmail.com.
That sounds legit.
Yeah, but this is like supposed to be like a trial version of the real legit like series entry that's coming out on the Switch next year.
Okay, I'll be down for that one.
Yeah. Last one, Resident Evil 2 remake. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
I think it'd be fun to play. I'll always like remakes on next gen consoles.
Well, especially like a game like Resident Evil that was super pixely, super like,
but it was iconic,
clunky. It was iconic because it's kind of the first of its kind. But just seeing the footage from E3 looks so beautiful, man. And Gamescom, like, oh my gosh, it looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Any closing thoughts on this?
There's a lot of games I'm excited for. I don't know where the hell I'm going to find time for all these games, but I'm going to try.
I know. It's gaming season's tough, man. It's always like, late August to mid-December is when you do all your, like, that's when the prime time for gaming is, and then you have, like, January through like July.
That's the January through July is the time you play the holiday releases. Yeah,
and you have like little small trickles of games. Like Borderlands usually comes out around then, and
they want to catch kids right on the summer when we start summer break.
Yeah, but it's a good time to hit the back catalog. That's what I'm doing right now.
Looking for an edge the next time you take on your favorite video game? Look no further than Vitabrace high-performance gamer wristbands. Packed with the power of fruit seed oil, Vitabrace is clinically proven to help improve performance, giving you a better gaming experience. Whether you're looking to beat the time on your latest speedrun or are fighting your way to the top on your favorite multiplayer or battle royale game, Vitabrace can help you reach your gaming goals. Buy Vitabrace today at miraclefruitoil.com. That's miraclefruitoil.com. Vitabrace. Win with it.
Big Dog, you got a topic for us today. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, there's been like a lot of games that are pretty challenging, but there's been a few that's been downright like just frustrating. Want to break your controller, and I just want to see what would have been your top couple games that you've struggled with and have just really gotten you that you might not even finished. They were so challenging.
Ooh, okay. So I kind of had a moment like that yesterday with Kingdom Hearts where I was able to get... The bosses got progressively more difficult towards the end of the game. I still haven't beaten it, but I got to... I want to say it's the second to last boss. You fight Riku, and it's a long story. But anyways, like we had this... You fight him, and like I can get probably about 75% through the battle, but then he just starts doing more and more attacks. And I got so frustrated last night that I threw the controller down and I started swearing. And like that hasn't happened to me in a long time. And I was like, because as an adult, I don't have time to sit there and grind on games like I used to.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to play it quick, And if it takes like 2 or 3 hours of grinding to get to the right levels, that's fine. But I went online and I looked up how other people beat this guy, and they're like, went out and did all the side quests, and I didn't play them until I was level 80 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, what level am I on? I click pause at level 46. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to grind for 40 levels just to beat this guy. Like I'm even now trying to decide, like I might try to get to level 60, but is it worth it?
Not really.
But, other moments like that, I remember the first time you and I went through Halo Combat Evolved when we were in high school, the Maw, we got all the way to the end and we ran out of time. We didn't quite make it to the end. Remember, we got out of the car, started fighting the flood. We were like right by there's some like glitch or whatever, and we were trying to climb up the ramp, and then the timer stopped, and we thought that we made it because it went white for a second, and then the thing exploded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that was because we kept on like, we made so many mistakes. So we were in Jeeps. The first time, like, we were in separate Jeeps, and then, like, yours flipped over, so you got in mine. We kept running into little, like, blow-up guys, and we were flipping over. And then we actually stopped when we thought the Pelican was going to come down. And, like...
Oh, yeah, it didn't. It, like, blew up or whatever.
It blew up, yeah. But I'm finding that with games, the longer you're playing, the worse the rage moment gets, though. And it's not just playing in, like, day increments. It's playing... However many hours you've been playing before that, like your game rage gets worse and worse and worse.
It's especially difficult where it's not a save, where the only saves are at the checkpoints. So if you fuck up, you have to start all over again at the checkpoint.
Yep.
And that's one of the most frustrating things. One of mine was always oh god, I can't remember the name of the game, but it was like one where you build a party. And it's kind of like a Final Fantasy turn-based game. I think remember that game where they had the cat people that had 4 arms?
It's not. Who made it? What was the story?
Oh, the story was like your sister was taken, and so you have to you travel around. And it's like you find these people you can recruit into your party. Like there's like a whale people. There's like these cat people, these little lizard people.
This sounds like Zelda.
Kinda, but it's not. It's the same. It's more Final Fantasy-esque.
Is it The Last Remnant? Was that on Xbox 360?
It might be The Last Remnant.
The Last Remnant. It had the protagonist was voiced by the same guy who did Vash the Stampede and Trigun.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
That game, there was like one point where you got to this one guy, and no matter what you did, I mean, I even went on and watched people do it, and I could not figure it out. And it just pissed me off. I still haven't played the game since, but I just could not beat that guy. And I would get close, and it would just... He'd like do like... Somehow he'd be able to do... He gets like 3 turns in a row.
Right.
And he like smashes the shit out of me every time.
See, that's what I hate in like role-playing games. They always give you like the buffers you can do, and you do them, but they only work about 40% of the time, but the computer does them, and it's like a 99% success rate.
Yeah. It's like, oh god, there was a game. I think it was another one that was kind of challenging. Oh man, what was the one with the UFOs? I'm having trouble remembering games today. Enemy Unknown.
XCOM?
XCOM.
Yeah.
Fun game. But I swear to God, you'd be from where you and I are, and I'm aiming at your head, and it gives me a 75% hit chance, and I do it, and he fucking misses. And then he gets a turn, and it kills my guy in one hit. It used to drive me insane, because in that game, people died, they stayed dead.
Right.
So you lost that. You lost that progressive character.
That's like in the old Sega games. So like you have Streets of Rage or Golden Axe, remember? And you'd be allowed a certain amount of lives, but
well, like no, it's like that character that you have. Like the more missions they do, the more they leveled up, more skills they get, more equipment, and then you're investing in these guys. But if they die, you lose all that.
Yeah,
and you got to start over again with like a rookie or whatever.
Right,
build
right.
Up on your team.
Yeah,
super frustrating. Used to piss me off to no end.
Oh, dude.
There was a way around it where you could save at a checkpoint, and then if you just quit the game before you quit the mission, you could just reload your last save.
Oh,
but I think in the
that's
second
smart.
one they fixed it though.
The existence of memory cards has caused me so much grief over the years.
Who uses memory cards anymore?
No, but like in PlayStation. Remember when PlayStation came out and you had memory cards? Like
I think even N64 had it too.
Yeah, and like my brother and I always shared memory cards because my mom didn't want. Okay, but get this though. Justin happened to like to play the same games as me.
Yeah.
So, I'd be probably disc 3 Final Fantasy 7. Justin comes in and he freaking saves over my save file. So it took me 4 tries to beat Final Fantasy 7, which is weird because there are 4 discs. Yeah, so it was an exercise in frustration at the most. So do you have any moments though where you actually broke a controller?
Yeah. There was I was playing, I think it was the first or second UFC fighting game. And there's moments in the game where you could you're doing good, but if you get hit with a certain punch or a kick or whatever, a certain spot, it could just it like rolls, or you have a chance to get an immediate knockout or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing that, and and like I progressed through the people to build up so I can fight the champion, and then I was doing it, and I was doing pretty good, and it was super challenging, and I thought I was doing good, and then all of a sudden he hit me with a hit, and I knocked out, and I had you have to start all over again, and I said fuck, and I just slammed the controller on the ground, and it fucking.
Oh dang, dude! Yeah, so mine was Skyrim. No, not Skyrim. Oblivion. Okay, I did the. I always forget that in Elder Scrolls, you pretty much have to romantically date the save option. You have to be attached to that completely.
Oh, you have to. It has to be ingrained that you save every 5
always
minutes.
Be on your mind. You kill a guy, you jump over a river, you avoid an obstacle. You gotta save that shit.
Yes. Have multiple saves.
So there was one time when I zoned out, did not save for 3 hours, went into an Oblivion gate, almost made it to the top.
This one.
Did the marathon sprint to the top. Almost closed it, died. And I was like, okay, well, hopefully it autosaved before I got on there. It didn't autosave. So my Xbox controller, I threw it and actually put a hole in the wall right here. And I did. I mean, it cost me. It was on me because it cost me $50 to buy a new controller after that. But I just learned my lesson though.
I actually got so mad one time that I twisted one in half.
Ooh.
I can't remember what I think it was playing.
It's probably a PlayStation controller because those are super weak in the middle.
PS3.
Yeah.
PS3 controller. I was playing, I think it was a WWE game. And I did all the thing I was supposed to do, and I ended up losing anyway, and I just it was so frustrating because it was 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had been on it for 4 hours, and I just was like, "Oh my god!" And I did this, and I.
That's one of those things, though, right? The more hours you've been playing before the meltdown, the more likely you are to break a controller or scream at something.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. there's one more thing I was going to say. Do you remember a game called Blue Dragon? It was written by Akira Toriyama, who made Dragon Ball Z. It was on the Xbox 360. I think it was 4 discs. Same art.
What was that game where it was like multiple discs? It was you played a character. He was like in like silver armor with like long black hair. Oh. You had like a sword that like it was another turn-based game, but it was like multiple discs. Super challenging.
Well, that's Final Fantasy did that.
No, it wasn't. Because it wasn't a Final Fantasy game.
Lost Odyssey.
Was it Lost
on
Odyssey?
360? Yeah, the guy with the long hair. You played. His name was like Kane or something like that.
Was it that one?
I think that was it. That was on Xbox 360. And it had so many discs in it that they didn't even like the flap in the middle wasn't enough to have them all. It had to have an envelope with 2 other discs in it.
Yes.
I remember in Blue Dragon, though, I was trying to get an achievement one time, and I melted the rubber on the controller because you have to it involved you pressing down on the X button a lot of times. I got out. I went over to Eric, so I'm like, "Hey, Eric, can you do this? Because I can't. I
remember the story.
Yeah, and he took his mom's neck massager that had the
vibration.
Yeah, and it just went, and I got the achievement, but it freaking melted the side of the joystick because it got so hot.
Good Lord.
All right, cool, man. Any closing thoughts on this?
I love challenging games. Challenging games. Dark Souls, by the way. Any Dark Souls game.
So frustrating.
Super frustrating.
It's coming out on Switch, by the way.
But I love frustrating games. I haven't broken a controller in years, I swear.
I don't like games to be unbeatable.
I don't like games to be unbeatable where I get so frustrated that I just quit.
Yeah, or you have to be in the top tier of video game players to beat it.
Yeah. I like challenge, but I don't like it to be redonkulous where unless I have to dedicate hours of my day to get better at this game. It's a legit skill.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
But definitely cool with challenging games though.
Yeah. I like challenging games. I don't like a game like Kingdom Hearts though. I don't want to invest more than 40 hours into it to get to the ending, you know?
Right?
Yeah. All right, cool. If you're looking for more episodes of this podcast, you can find them on podcast.com, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcast, iTunes, and other great podcasting outlets around the globe. Until next time, it's been a pleasure.
Later.